again, the hyperbole, they can very simply say anything. They can go, gun control, it lowers pollution. The more gun control you have, the less pollution you have. They can give you any kind of statistic to say that and convince people, and anybody who's listened to Trevor Noah will be convinced, because that's all Trevor Noah, he makes examples of that. The only thing he's saying is stuff like that. He doesn't say anything other than that. And it doesn't register on these people because they're not understanding human beings. They're narcissistic, grounded entities. They all feel spiritually advanced because they're grounded. It's like, there's no more thinking. Thinking is, you hear them in their rhetoric, even way back in the medieval days, the Catholics said science is of the devil. That's the same religious perversion of the Marxists, the current day liberal leftist academic. When you go, what is Tavistock? That's the Vatican. It's the same people. The Vatican says, hey, we're going to run education, we're going to run the bank. And now that's who runs education, and that's who runs the churches, that's who runs the banks. And the governments. This is biblical, as it tells you, that's what this says in the Bible, that this is what's going to happen, is the Vatican is going to run the world nations through banking and their ecclesiastic apostasy. And here it is. And believe that ecclesiastic apostasy, that's what the liberal feels. It's the spirit, because most of them are antichrist, openly antichrist. But all of them are unified in their narcissistic inhumanity. That's what they have. They think they're superseding reality and humanity. Humanity is, you hear this all the time in the rhetoric of the liberals, or it even goes back to medieval days with the Catholics. Humanity is a disease to these people. So science is a disease, humanity is a disease, and people to realize what humanity actually means is the rational person who understands reality. Understanding means, oh, look, there's something outside of me and my ego. That's someone who understands reality. Not the narcissist. It's nothing outside of their ego, it's just them. And you hear their rhetoric all the time, and they're very dangerous people. And the thing is, they're not only dangerous people, they're common people, and they're empowered. That's the CIA, that's the IRS, that's the current, and people should understand, like, where the pieces on the table are, the chess pieces are moving right now. We have all the neocon Pharisees censoring people because they think, like, oh, if they got up money and they're not, leftist liberals, somehow that they have an entitlement to censor people because they want to usher in the age of neo-feudalism. It's ridiculous, because you see that this is what they believe in. If, the people with, maybe few $1 million in savings, they got commodities all over the place, and they got their, guns and armaments, and their little Jeep, and there maybe a little tank, and a little, maybe, a missile launcher, who knows, but this is not even an exaggeration. This is what, and they feel like they're in the right, because, that's why they have their material authority, and they think, it'll be a great day, the age of neo-feudalism. But neo-feudalism is not going to be the great day. It's a ridiculous concept to think, like, yeah, that's what we want to have, neo-feudalism. Because then you really got to look at the pieces on the board, what's being moved around. Oh, they got bioweapons, they got nuclear weapons, they got famines, they got logistic, choke points, it's all that's involved, and it's not a good world. But then that is the world. There is no resistance towards the Vatican's edict. They're the ones running that. And you see in all these supposedly alternative mindsets, it's actually still neo-feudalism. And they're not going to sit there and vie for justice for people as a human, quantifiable being. Humans have no quantifiable beings. They're just the essential, narcissism to be eliminated for the egos. The ego, the one unified ego, is going to eliminate all, obstacle to nullification of reality, nullification of truth, and nullification of humanity. This is what they want to do. This is the TED Talks people. They want to nullify humanity. They want psychopath human 2.0 to supersede the, throwbacks, whatever, old-fashioned, humans, the old-fashioned humans, the psychopath is human 2.0, and believe that this is very prominent in all of your schools, in colleges, all of your, even the intellectual circles, if you meet these people, the people who think that they're sophisticated and understand because, hey, look, they got a good job working for Google or for Chase Manhattan, they're doing their networking. And believe I've met plenty of these people. They're all the same. Wow, you do the banking transactions, the networking for that, and security, whatever. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And believe that's just a sycophant for the propaganda, media. You see those guys, the propaganda, they're not going to speak against the propaganda. It's just an intuitive instinct. They will just go, yeah, whatever they say, that's the truth. What do you think? You're stupid? You're one of those infidels? I'm not stupid. And that's their job description. That's what they do to keep their job. It's something they do passionately. That's their whole social life. Because you'll see these people, they don't want to, have any kind of discussion about anything that matters. Like, what about these drug cartels, running, trafficking people? Oh, I don't want to talk about that. That's too serious. You're going to ruin my day. I'd rather watch Trevor Noah and laugh at all the humans that we're going to round up and remove. That's what these people who are working for AT&T, Verizon, and it's the whole company, the whole corporations like that. I've actually... You see that the purge had happened in the medical industry. It's gone. And that's the way it is in the IT community, too. It's completely in the military and everything else. But as they talk about, they tell you the military's been purged like that, too. You're not supposed to have any kind of sub-God human, emotion or value system, metrics. You're just supposed to be that monolithic, human 2.0. And that monolithic human 2.0 is not actually human. It doesn't qualify as a human being. You're like Sabine Hossenfelder had said, you're just a chemical reaction. You're just carbon and sugar, and you're just I met this guy. He was a programming instructor. He did JavaScript and other languages, basic introduction languages. And I think he was pretty good at what he was doing. He was pretty good at it. He had he understood how to communicate these ideas, but what he didn't understand is in genetics, he was like one of those monists who thought there's no such thing as man-made. Everything's just natural. So if you have a GMOs are just, even if you're splicing genes, it's just as natural. He says there's no different between just cross-pollinating things. Well, that's not true. Cross-pollinating things is not the same as splicing pig DNA with a tomato. He thought he was more sophisticated. He goes, no, it is the same thing, because to him, the genome is just a program, looking to make an efficient monistic, world, to unify the word entropy in divinity, the divine entropy. And that's what he's doing as a liberal. That's what he's doing, and that's what pig DNA with a tomato selling on the market is doing too. And that's the superior one, the one that's pushing for the one. And otherwise, you wonder, what does this guy think? That's what this guy's thinking. He's thinking this is a superior program. It's going to replicate. It's going to get on the shelf, and the bureaucrat's going to mandate this pig tomato for every classroom in the earth because it's superior. And it's irrational, but it is that narcissistic self thing. Wow, now your killer tomato has propagated over the whole planet and has killed everything else. And go, see, that's what we're aiming for. He thinks that's that's his aim as a leftist liberal. That's how he feels, and he feels that too. The tomato that would be, the Monsanto tomato being mandated on the planet he's parallel with that, and it is superior in his mind. It is superior, and you're like, dude, that's not a human being. That's an aggregate disease. It really is. It becomes this. It's hard to explain it, but it's not a rational person. And then you go to jurisprudence. You have laws that we have on the books, and people should understand there's an aberration when you become that monist. No language means anything because you're just an action. You're just that unifying unity. That's your persona. That words are out the window. They don't mean anything anymore. It's just action. And believe that word action, they call it karma. Karma is action. This is very steeped in their esoteric mindset. When I met those 500 psychopaths, they were always talking about action, 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 and it becomes like this is like Eastern philosophy. But I would say it's not Eastern philosophy. It's because it's just as Western as Catholics. The Catholics and the Eastern philosophy of this mindset is the same. But I wouldn't say that this is what Buddhism really is. There's all these different variations of Buddhism, or this is what Hinduism really is, because all these variations of Hinduism. I said when you're this way, it's no different. A Catholic and a Buddhist can be the same or can be different. You can have a Buddhist who is a rational, understanding human. That's fine, and speaking rationally. And again, back to jurisprudence, when you have these concepts of law and civics, again, with the psychopaths, it's out the window. It's just they're just in karma, in action, doing what they want to do. They lie, cheat, and say. Realize that these are liars all the time. They lie habitually because they don't even believe there is any kind of truth. There's no words. There's just action. So with lying, to them doesn't even exist. The concept doesn't exist to them. And how do you have a jurisprudence when you have people who don't believe in the concept of lying? It exists. It doesn't exist. Words don't exist. If words don't exist and lying doesn't exist, their jurisprudence doesn't exist either. And these are the people who are running your courts. This is the people running. This is that big club. They're running the media, and you can see that this is they're all vying for neo-feudalism. But you got to understand, this is like a lemmings, mindless evil. Like I said, you got the $1 a day criminal. Tomorrow they're gonna be a 50 cents a day criminal. Next year they're gonna be a 5 cents a day criminal, and then after that they're just gonna all starve to death. That's like, Mozambique. That's what happened over in Mozambique. That's what's happening now, and the Tavistock ruling, authorities, they understand that very clearly. This is when you see like the useful idiots. This is how Stalin put it, the useful idiots. They were killed first. After they were done with their use, they got rid of them all. And, like, hey, you can't have a chair of power. We're just here to get that elimination. And it's not like a rational thing to do. It's an emotional thing to do. So you look at like Joseph Stalin, he has murdered how many millions of people for what? He's not living as good as the lower class American is today with our modern amenities and technologies. And, what did he get, for his emotional, perversion? Not such a great reward. And that's in the material, tangible. And forget about anything else. And it's at the beginning, people should realize that to these people, reality is beyond them. They don't understand things. So just like the people at the HR department, they don't understand. It's like, dude, you don't hire 50 people who can't do anything, because crackheads and bozos, because now you're going to lose your client. Because I know that the company I'm working for, they just lost another client. They just lost like 5 clients, pretty big clients, in the last 2 months. And the reason being is because they only put their worst employees out, and their best employees, they're actually unemployed over there. I know that because they give them such little work that they can't survive on it. So that they're probably, on disability, just trying to, get in a food pantry or something. And these are the working people. They're just being pushed out of society by these mindless, narcissistic Marxists. And it's because I deal with these people every day. And the insults, like, I want to make a video just on like specific insults that they said. It's sickening. It's just like, wow, well, you can't do what I do, and I can do what you do much better than you. What I would do is completely opposite of everything you do. You guys mistreat all your best employees, and the worst employees, you're trying to be best friends with them, and you want to give them as much praise and support. It's totally unwarranted, but you're losing all your clients, and now that's not how business actually works. That's how communism works. It doesn't. You just have a bunch of narcissistic people pointing their finger at, what are they, I'm the problem? Like, really, that's what it is. I'm such a problem where I can't even, say hello without, being, there it is, you did it again. These people they're so foul. They're so disrespectful